guys, welcome to a brand new video, and this week I wanted to share a little bit of a studio vlog with you. And something we've been trying to do as part of our daily routine is go for a walk around the woods or around this local estate as well, quite near where we live. We've started a brand new chapter this week. I'm now homeschooling or home educating our son, and it's very exciting. So he now gets to come along on these walks with me. But yeah, it's really fun to just look for inspiration, look for ideas, look for things to draw. It's really refreshing. I find it's really good for both of our mental health. It's really good to just get outside, even for 10 minutes. We usually do somewhere between half an hour and an hour's walk, and that's so good to kind of get us motivated so that when we get home, we're kind of ready to tackle the day, ready to get some work done. All of these things that we come across as well, all the things we're seeing, even the bird song or the leaves that I spot on the ground, they all feed into my well of ideas, and I just love that idea of responding to the world around me. And it's important that I kind of get that into my work as well, so that my work's authentic to me and I'm really following what's inspiring me and the ideas that kind of flow as I keep moving forwards through that. So yeah, the different shapes that I've been looking at is like leaves and kind of the uneven colouring. It's really nice to see these in real life, because I think in my head a leaf is a perfect thing, whereas when you find them on the floor, they're like in decay, there's these marks on them. They're so much more interesting and unexpected, and that is so inspiring to bring back into the studio and back into my work. So I've also been photocopying my Moleskine sketchbook. So these are some of the spreads I've been doing over the last couple of months. I've just been working on black and white drawings, these motifs, and this is what I love to use in my work. But it does take me a long time to draw them. So I've had this idea for ages where I could collage with them. So I've done these spreads especially so that I can then cut out each motif and then play around with them on the page, play with the composition, get some layout ideas. It makes it quick and easy to move things around without having to draw every single thing. So this has been a really, really fun exercise and something I've thought about doing for ages. So I'm excited to see where this goes. So this is my little Moleskine sketchbook, as I mentioned, and it's in here that I do all of my drawings. This has been such a handy little sketchbook to work in over the last few months. I started this in January, and I was trying to do kind of like a daily drawing practice, so just drawing something every single day, and it's really developed into just such a meaningful little sketchbook full of work. So I just keep it simple. I find it very meditative just to kind of doodle, and I find it really fun and relaxing. So I'm working on more motifs here so that I can then collage this page as well. So there's lots of florals on this spread. The idea is then I can photocopy this as many times as I need to along with my other spreads, and then cut out these motifs and use them together in different compositions. These are just simple flowers, but other things I've been drawing obviously are my leaves and vines. I've been drawing owls, butterflies, moths and mushrooms as well. So just adding in a few kind of new sketches of things that I've not really used before in my mandala orbs, but it might be quite interesting to bring in kind of this added layer of life, I guess. I'd love to draw some birds as well and add those in. I think that would be really fun too. But it's always making me ask this question of what do I want to include in my work, and it's really fascinating to see how this develops. I've pulled out my large Moleskine sketchbook here and my watercolour set, and it's really fun to look through some old work. I find this so inspiring to see what I've done before. I think I often forget kind of where I've come from, what I've experimented with, how I've used things up, changed things up. So I find it really inspiring to look back through old work, and it quite often sparks new ideas. So this will help me to think about what I want to create and move in a new direction. Finding like old pieces of watercolour that I started with the intention of drawing into, and they've just kind of been left half finished in my sketchbook. I always find it really exciting to come across things like this, and just half made orbs, coloured orbs, really fun. So yeah, I am then cutting out these photocopies, and I'm going to collage these into the watercolour orb that I've just found in my sketchbook. I wasn't expecting to see that there, but I found that so inspiring. So I'm cutting out lots of vines and leaves and things, and I'm going to just have a little play. As I've been doing this, I realise how much I miss working in colour. It's just something that, again, I find really meditative, and it just soothes my soul. So it's really inspired me to get out a big piece of paper, use my watercolours and have a play, just paint really loosely, try and enjoy the process. And whilst I let this dry, we will come back to this later. I'm going to show you what else I've been working on. So I pulled out my Pith sketchbook. This is the largest one I've got, the Oro Blanco. And yeah, inspired by all this watercolour play and all the fun coloured things that I found, I decided that I'd do a really nice painterly orb in my sketchbook, just so I can play with colours. I was going to use my little palette to start with, but actually I pulled out some of my tubes. This is all gouache, and I used it straight from the tube. And the colours are just so rich and lush and vibrant. They're really beautiful. So actually I've really loved working in them in this way, and just like adding water to the page. And again, I've just kept it really loose. I've painted out a few motifs like the leaves, and the idea again is that I'm going to come in and draw all the detail kind of on and around it later on, and that's going to really finish it off. So it doesn't need to be perfect now, it just needs to really give this pop of colour and just be really, really fun and vibrant. So I'm going to let this dry, and we will come back to this in a minute. One of the things I love to do with my mandala orbs is put down this base layer of colour and then add in pencil over the top. I pull out all my coloured pencils, and this is a really, really fun way to add in lots of details, lots of texture. You can add in sort of patterns or any mark making. You can also add in extra colour as well, and it just gives such a richness to the layers. So I love that when you're drawn into a painting, because you see something at first and then it draws you in, and the more you look, the more you see. And I think that's what's so fascinating as well about abstract. Once you get in there and you can see all the little details that are in there. This is definitely something I want to play around with a lot more and just practice a lot more. This is just so fun, and I love to do the drawings of this like whilst I watch the TV in the evening or watch a film. It's just such a relaxing kind of meditative process for me. So when I've finished with adding in all of my colours, I add in little marks, little lines or circles or even scribbles can just be so inspiring and just add another depth to the piece. Once I'm happy with how it looks, I then just pull out my black fine line pen and I do all the rest of the detail in my black pen. So I will go over the leaves, I will add in any of those kind of unexpected marks that I mentioned about earlier, draw out all my flowers, and then just continue. And I do it very intuitively. I don't pre-plan what's going to go where, I just kind of feel inspired, and then I look for where the spaces are and what could fit in the space, and I just draw from there. Hi guys, okay, so I'm in my living room and I want to show you what I was working on yesterday. You can probably hear the washing machine in the background, sorry about that. Anyway, it's been so much fun. I've been collaging out of the bits of paper that I'd cut out. I've also been working on the big spread that you will have seen me kind of paint. And yeah, it's just so fun to play. So let me show you. Okay, so this is the large piece, and here I've just kind of played around with composition. I've stuck things down where I think they look nice. Just played around with kind of how things fit together using stuff like this. This is new. I would never have kind of thought to do this sort of composition before. Again, yeah, just playing around. So yeah, I really love the simplicity of just being able to cut things out and stick them down or move them around kind of on the artwork on the sheet. So this is definitely something I'm going to continue with as well, to kind of see, I don't know, how my work wants to progress. I really love the idea of doing kind of large pieces, maybe like, I don't know, a montage of things all together. I'm not really sure how it's going to work yet. Let me show you my sketchbook. So this is the sketchbook spreads. I still need to finish some of these details here, but I've added in the midnight sky, and the black just always makes everything pop. I'm not sure whether to do it all the way around or just kind of do half of it. It kind of feels unfinished around here. But yeah, nice to play with colour. I think this is the thing I'd really missed, working in colour. So it was just so nice. I mean, this is not perfect, or not even, I don't know, sometimes I don't think this even looks finished. Maybe some white splattered on top would look cool. These look very pale in comparison to this, so that's kind of interesting to me. But yeah, so fun to create. Let me show you. Yeah, really pleased with just, you know, making art just for the fun of making art and how it makes me feel. I just love, look at all these colours here, and with the black as well. They just sing, it's so beautiful. So just before we come to an end here, I want to show you the finished orb from earlier. This was the one that I was collaging around with all of my cutouts, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. This was one of the watercolour orbs that I'd found just loose on a piece of paper in my sketchbook. I'd forgotten I'd done it actually, so it was really nice to come across this again. And yeah, just adding in the collage meant that I can move things around, and then I filled spaces in like unexpected ways. So things like the crystals and the feathers, I've just put in little gaps. And it's things like this that I've realised if I was drawing this freehand, I wouldn't have thought to put those things in those spaces. So it's interesting how the collaging is kind of changing how I think about the work and how I create the work. Anyway, I'm really pleased with the outcome and I'm really enjoying all this collaging. So I'm looking forward to doing more of this in the future. Anyway, that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope you've had a creative week as well, and I will see you next week for another video. Lots of love. Bye.